Good evening, everyone. Welcome to UCA Theatre's production of The Rivals by Richard Brinsley Sheridan. Last spring, when theaters closed all over the world, theater artists and audiences immediately began searching for ways to carry on. How can we actively pursue our need to enact stories when we have to stay masked and distanced and apart? This is our experiment in Zoom theater. None of us has ever done anything like it before, and for many of you, it is an unfamiliar experience. We are excited to do this with you, and we are obliged to you for your kind attention. Sheridan's play takes place in Bath, England in 1775 when it was written. The show will begin shortly. Thank you.
What? Thomas? Sure it is he. What? Thomas? Thomas!
Hey, Hod's life, Mr. Fagg, my old fellow servant.
I'm devilish glad to see you, my lad. Why, my prince of charioteers, you look hardy. Who the deuce not have seen you in Bath?
Sure, Master, Madam Juliet, and several of the servants be all come.
Indeed.
Aye, Master thought another fit of the gout was coming on, so he'd mind to give the slip, and whip, we were all off at an hour's warning.
Aye, hasty in everything, would not be Sir Anthony Absolute.
But tell us, Mr. Fagg, how does young Master? Odd, Sir Anthony will stare to see the captain here.
I do not serve Captain Absolute now.
Why, sure.
At present, I'm employed by Ensign Beverly.
I doubt, Mr. Fagg, you have changed for the better.
I have not changed, Thomas.
No? Didn't you say you had left young Master?
No. Well, honest Thomas, I must puzzle you no further. Briefly then, Captain Absolute and Ensign Beverly are one and the same person.
The devil they are!
So it is indeed, Thomas, and the ensign half of my master being on guard at present, The captain has nothing to do with me.
So, what? This is some freak, I warrant. Do tell us, Mr. Fagg, the meaning of it.
You'll be secret, Thomas?
As a coach horse.
Why, then the cause of all this is love. Love, Thomas, who's been a masquerader ever since the days of Jupiter.
I guess there might be a lady in the case. But pray, why does your master pass only for ensign? Now, if he had shammed general.
Ah, Thomas, there lies the mystery. My master's in love with a lady of very singular taste. A lady who likes him better as half-paid ensign than if she knew he was the son and heir to Sir Anthony Absolute, a baronet of 3,000 a year.
That is an odd taste indeed. But has she got the stuff, Mr. Fagg? Is she rich, eh?
Rich? Why, I believe she owns half the stocks. Zooks, Thomas, she could pay the national debt as easily as I could pay my washerwoman.
Bravo, Faith. But does she draw kindly with the captain?
As fine as it is.
May one hear her name?
Miss Lydia Languish. But there's this old, tough aunt in the way, though by the by, she has never seen my master. For we got acquainted with Miss while on the visit to Gloucestershire.
Well, I wish they were at once harnessed together in matrimony. But pray, Mr. Fagg, what kind of a place is this Bath? I have heard here's a great deal of merrymaking, eh?
Yes, Thomas, yes. 'Tis a good lounge. Mr. Falkland's gentleman and I keep up a little in private parties. I'll introduce you there, Thomas, and you'll like him much.
Sure, I know him well, and you know his master, Mr. Falkland, is to marry Madame Julia.
I had forgot.
But Zooks, 'tis the captain. Is that the lady with him?
No, that's Madame Lucy, Miss Lydia's maid.
Odd. He's giving her money. Well, Mr. Fagg.
Goodbye, Thomas. I have an appointment at 8 at Guide's Porch this evening. Meet me there and we'll make a little party.
Indeed, ma'am, I traversed half the town in search of it. I don't believe there's a circulating library in Bath I hadn't been at.
And could not you get the reward of constancy?
No, indeed, ma'am.
Nor the fatal connection?
No, indeed, ma'am.
Nor the delicate distress or the mistakes of the heart?
No, indeed, ma'am. I asked everywhere for them.
Hi ho. Well, child, what have you brought me?
Oh, here, ma'am. This is the Gordian knot, and this peregrine pickle. Here are the Tears of Sensibility and Humphrey Clinker. This is Memoirs of a Lady of Quality, written by herself. And here, the second volume of The Sentimental Journey.
Hi ho. What are those books by the glass?
The great one is Only the Whole Duty of Man, where I press a few flowers, ma'am.
Very well. Give me the sal volatile.
Is it in a blue cover, ma'am?
My smelling bottle, you simpleton.
Oh, the drops. Here, ma'am.
Hold. I hear someone coming. Quick, go see who it is. Surely I heard my cousin Julia's voice.
Oh, Lud, ma'am, here is Miss Melville.
Is it possible? My dearest Julia, how delighted am I! How unexpected!
True, Lydian, our pleasure is the greater.
Julia, I have so many things to tell you, but first inform me what has conjured you to Bath. Is Sir Anthony here?
He is. We are arrived within this hour, and I suppose he will be here to wait on Mrs. Malaprop as soon as he is dressed.
Then before we are interrupted, let me impart with you some of my distress. You know of my whole connection with Beverly. But I have lost him, Julia. My aunt has discovered us by a note she intercepted and has confined me ever since. Yet, would you believe it? She has absolutely fallen in love with the tall Irish baronet she met one night since we had been here.
You jest, Lydia.
No! Upon my word! She really carries a sort of correspondence with him. Under a feigned name, though, till she chooses to be known to him. Adelia or Celia.
Then, surely, she is now more indulgent to her niece.
Quite the contrary. Since she has discovered her own frailty, she has become more suspicious of mine. Yet, I must inform you of another plague. That odious Acres is to be in Bath today.
Come, come, Lydia, hope for the best.
But you have not heard the worst. Unfortunately, I had quarreled with my poor Beverly just before my aunt made the discovery, and I have not seen him since to make it up.
What was this offense?
Oh, nothing at all. But I don't know how it was. As often as we had been together, we had never had a quarrel, and I was afraid he would never give me an opportunity. So, last Thursday, I wrote a letter to myself to inform myself that Beverly was at the time paying his addresses to another woman. I signed it, Your Friend Unknown, showed the letter to Beverly, charged him with his falsehood, put myself in a violent passion, and vowed I'd never see him more.
And you let him depart so, and have not seen him since?
'Twas the next day my aunt found the matter out. I only intended to tease him for 3 days and a half, and now I've lost him forever.
If he is as deserving and sincere as you have represented him to me, he will never give you up so. Yet consider, Lydia. You tell me he has been ensign, and you have 30,000 pounds.
But you know I lose most of my fortune if I marry without my aunt's consent, till of age, which I have determined to do ever since I knew the penalty. Nor could I love a man who would wait a day for the alternative.
Nay, this is caprice.
What, does Julia tax me with caprice? I thought her Falkland inured her to it.
I do not love even his faults.
But you have sent to him, I suppose?
Not yet. Nor has he the least idea of my being in Bath. Sir Anthony's resolution was so sudden I could not inform him of it.
Well, Julia, you are your own mistress. Yet, have you for this long year been a slave to the caprice, the whim, the jealousy of this ungrateful Falkland, who will ever delay assuming the right of a husband while you suffer him to be equally imperious as a lover?
Nay, you are wrong entirely. We were contracted before my father's death. That and some consequent embarrassments have delayed what I know to be my Falkland's most ardent wish. And as for his character, you wrong him there too. No, Lydia, he is too proud, too noble to be jealous. If he is captious, 'tis without disassembling, if fretful, without rudeness. Unused to the fopperies of love, he is negligent of those little duties expected of a lover. But his affection is ardent and sincere, and as it engrosses his whole soul, he expects every thought and emotion of his mistress to move in unison with his. Yet though his pride calls for this in full return, his humility makes him undervalue those qualities in him which would entitle him to it, and not feeling why he should be loved to the degree he wishes, he still suspects he is not loved enough. This temper, I must own, has cost me many unhappy hours. But I have learned to think myself his debtor for those imperfections that arise from the ardor of his attachment.
Well, Julia, I cannot blame you for defending him. Yet, tell me candidly, Julia, had he not saved your life, do you think you should be as attached to him as you are? Believe me, the rude blast that overset your boat was a properous gale of love to him.
Gratitude may have strengthened my attachment to Mr. Falkland, but I had loved him before he had preserved me. Yet surely that alone were an obligation sufficient.
Obligation. Why, a water spaniel would have done as much. Well, I should never think of giving my heart to a man because he could swim.
Come, Lydia, you are too inconsiderate.
Nay, I do but jest. What's here?
Oh, ma'am, Sir Anthony Absolute has just returned home with your aunt.
Lucy, do you watch?
Yet I must go. Sir Anthony does not know I am here, and if we meet he'll detain me to show me the town. I'll take another opportunity of paying my respects to Mrs. Malaprop, when she shall treat me, as long as she chooses, with her select words so ingeniously misapplied, without being mispronounced.
Oh, Lud, they are coming up the stairs.
Well, I'll not detain you, coz. Adieu, my dear Julia. I'm sure you are in haste to send to Falkland. There, through my room you'll find another staircase.
Adieu.
Here, my dear Lucy, hide these books. Quick, quick, fling Peregrine Pickle under the toilet. Throw Roderick Random into the closet. Put the Innocent Adultery into the Whole Duty of Man. Thrust Lord Aimworth under the sofa. Cram Ovid behind the bolster. There, put the Man of Feeling into your pocket. So now lay Mr. Chapone in sight and leave Fortis's sermons open on the table. Now fling me Lord Chesterfield's letters. Now for 'em.
There, Sir Anthony, there sits the deliberate simpleton who wants to disgrace her family and lavish herself on a fellow not worth a shilling.
Madam, I thought you once.
You thought, miss? I don't know any business you have to think at all. Thought does not become a young woman. But the point we would request of you is that you will promise to forget this fellow, to illiterate him, I say, quite from your memory.
Madam, it is not so easy to forget because our wills are quite independent from our memories.
But I say it is, miss. There is nothing on earth so easy as to forget if a person chooses to set about it. I'm sure I have as much forgot your poor dear uncle as if he had never existed, and I thought it my duty to do so. And let me tell you, Lydia, these violent memories don't become a young woman.
Why, sure, she won't pretend to remember what she's ordered not. Aye, this comes of her reading.
What crime, madam, have I committed to be treated thus?
Now, don't attempt to extricate yourself from the matter. You know I have proof controvertible of it. But tell me, will you promise to do as you're bid? Will you take a husband of your friend's choosing?
Madam, I must tell you plainly that had I no preferment for anyone else, your choice would have been my aversion.
What business have you, miss, with preference and aversion? They don't become a young woman, and you ought to know that as both always wear off. 'Tis safest in matrimony to begin with a little aversion. I'm sure I hated your poor dear uncle before marriage, as if he had been a Visigoth. And yet, miss, you are sensible what a wife I made. And when it pleased heaven to release me from him, 'tis unknown what tears I shed. But suppose we were going to give you another choice, will you promise us to give up this Beverly?
Could I belie my thoughts as far as to give that promise? My actions would certainly as far belie my words.
Take yourself to your room. You are fit company for nothing but your own ill humors.
Willingly, ma'am. I cannot change for the worse.
There's a little intricate hussy for you.
It is not to be wondered at, ma'am. All of this is the natural consequence of teaching girls to read. Had I 1,000 daughters, by heaven, I'd have sooner have them taught witchcraft as their alphabet.
Nay, nay, Sir Anthony, you are an absolute misanthropy.
In my way hither, Mrs. Malaprop, I observed your niece's maid coming forth from a circulating library. She had a book in each hand, and from that moment I guessed how full of duty I should be.
Those are vile places indeed.
Madam, a circulating library in a town is as an evergreen tree of diabolical knowledge. It blossoms through the year, and depend on it, Mrs. Malaprop, that they who are so fond of handling the leaves will long for the fruit at last.
Fie, Sir Anthony, you surely speak laconically.
Why, Mrs. Malaprop, in moderation now. What would you have a woman know?
Observe me, Sir Anthony. I would by no means wish a daughter of mine to be a progeny of learning. I don't think so much learning becomes a young woman. For instance, I would never let her meddle with Greek or Hebrew or algebra or simony or fluxions or paradoxes or other such inflammatory branches of learning. Neither would it be necessary for her to handle any of your mathematical, astronomical, diabolical instruments. But, Sir Anthony, I would send her at 9 years old to a boarding school in order to learn a little ingenuity and artifice. Then, sir, she should have a supercilious knowledge in accounts. And as she grew up, I would have her instructed in geometry, that she might know something of the contagious countries. But above all, Sir Anthony, she should be mistress of orthodoxy, that she might not misspell and mispronounce words so shamefully as girls usually do, and likewise that she might reprehend the true meaning of what she is saying. This, Sir Anthony, is what I would have a woman know, and I don't think there's a superstitious article in it.
Well, well, Mrs. Malaprop, I will dispute the point no further with you. Though I really must confess, you are a truly moderate and polite arguer. Almost every third word you say is on my side of the question. But on to the more important point in debate. You say you have no objection to my proposal?
Oh, none, I assure you. I am under no positive engagement with Mr. Akers, and as Lydia is so obstinate against him, perhaps your son may have better success.
I will write for the boy directly. He knows not a syllable of this yet, though I have for some time had the proposal in my mind. He is at present with his regiment.
We have never seen your son, Sir Anthony, but I hope there will be no objection on his side.
Objection? Oh, let him object if he dares, Mrs. Malaprop. No, no. Jack knows that the least demur puts me in a frenzy directly. My process was always very simple. In his younger days, 'twas, Jack, do this. And if he demurred, I knocked him down. And if he grumbled at that, I always sent him out of the room.
I, in the properest way, on my conscience. Nothing is so consolating to young people as severity. Well, Sir Anthony, I shall give Mr. Akers his discharge and prepare Lydia to receive your son's invocations. And I hope you will represent her to the captain as an object not altogether illegible.
Madam, I will handle the subject prudently. Well, I must leave you, and let me beg you, Mrs. Malaprop, to enforce this matter roundly to the girl. Take my advice. If she rejects this proposal, clap her under lock and key. And if you were just to let the servants forget to bring her dinner for 3 or 4 days, you can't conceive how she'd come about.
Well, at any rate, I shall be glad to get her from under my intuition. She has somehow discovered my partiality for Sir Lucius O'Trigger. Sure, Lucy can't have betrayed me. No, the girl is such a simpleton. Lucy! Lucy!
Paul, ma'am?
Yes, girl. Did you see Sir Lucius while you were out?
No, ma'am, not a glimpse of him.
You are sure, Lucy, you never mentioned.
Oh, Gemini, I'd sooner cut my tongue out.
So come to me presently, and I'll give you another letter for Sir Lucius. But mind, Lucy, if ever you betray what you are entrusted with, unless it be other people's secrets to me, you forfeit my malevolence forever, and your being a simpleton shall be no excuse for your locality.
So, my dear Simplicity, let me give you a little respite. Let girls in my station be as fond as they please of appearing expert and knowing in their trusts. Commend me to a mask of silliness with a pair of sharp eyes for mine own interest under it. Let me see to what account I have turned my simplicity lately. for abetting Miss Lydia Languish in a design of running away with an ensign. In money, £12.12. Gowns, 5. Hats, ruffles, caps, etc., etc., numberless. From the said ensign within the last month, 6 guineas and a half, about a quarter's pay. Item from Mrs. Malaprop for betraying the young people to her, when I found matters were likely to be discovered, 2 guineas and a black gown. Item from Mr. Akers for carrying divers letters which I never delivered, 2 guineas and a pair of buckles. Item from Sir Lucius O'Trigger, 3 crowns, 2 gold pocket pieces, and a silver snuff box. Well done, simplicity! Yet I was forced to make my Hibernian believe that he was corresponding not with the aunt, but with the niece.
Sent me to inquire after his health and to know if he was at leisure to see you.
And what did he say upon hearing that I was at Bath?
Sir, in my life, I've never saw an elderly gentleman more astonished. He started back 2 or 3 paces, rapped out a dozen of interjectual oaths, and asked, "What the devil I brought you here?"
What did you say?
Oh, I lied, sir. I forgot the precise lie, but you may depend on it. He got no truth for me, yet for fears of blunder in the future, I should be glad to fix what has brought us to Bath, in order we may lie a little consistently. Sir Anthony's servants were curious, sir. Very curious indeed.
You have said nothing to them.
Oh, not a word, sir, not a word. My master has come to Bath to recruit. Yes, sir, I said to recruit.
Well, recruit will do. Let it be so. Is Mr. Falkland returned?
He is above, sir, changing his dress.
Can you tell whether he has been informed of Sir Anthony and Miss Melville's arrival?
I fancy not, sir.
Go, tell him I'm here.
Yes, sir. I beg a pardon, sir. But should Sir Anthony call, you will do me a favor to remember we are recruiting, if you please.
Well, well.
And in the tenderness to my character, I shall esteem it an obligation. Though I never scruple a lie to serve my master, yet it hurts one's conscience to be found out. Oh.
Now for my whimsical friend. If he does not know that his mistress is here, I'll tease him a little before I tell him. Falkland, you're welcome to Bath again. You are punctual in your return.
Yes, I had nothing to detain me. Well, what news since I left you? How stand matters between you and Lydia?
Faith, much as they were. I have not seen her since our quarrel. However, I expect to be recalled at every hour.
Why don't you persuade her to go off with you at once?
What, and lose 2/3 of her fortune? You forget that, my friend. No, I could have brought her to that long ago.
Nay, then you trifle too long. If you are sure of her, propose to the aunt in your own character and write to Sir Anthony for his consent.
Softly. For though I am convinced my little Lydia would elope with me as Ensign Beverly, I am by no means certain that she would take me with the impediment of our friend's consent, a regular humdrum wedding, and the revision of a good fortune on my side. No, I must prepare her gradually for the discovery and make myself necessary to her before I risk it. Well, but Falkland, you'll dine with us today at the hotel.
Indeed, I cannot. I'm not in spirits to be of such a party.
By heavens, Falkland, I shall forswear your company. You are the most teasing, captious, incorrigible lover. Do love like a man. Am I not a lover? I am the romantic one too. Yet do I carry with me everywhere such a confounded farrago of doubts, fears, hopes, wishes, and all the flimsy furniture of a country Mrs. Brain. For heaven's sake, what grounds for apprehension can you conjure up at present?
What grounds for apprehension did you say? Heavens, are there not 1,000? I fear for her spirits, her health, her life. Oh, Jack, when delicate and filling souls are separated, there's not a feature in the sky, not a movement of the elements, not an aspiration of the breeze, but hence some cause for a lover's apprehension.
Aye, but we may choose whether we take the hint or not. So then, Falkland, if you were convinced your mistress were well and in spirits, you would be entirely content.
I should be happy beyond measure. I'm anxious only for that.
Then to cure your anxiety at once, Miss Melville is in perfect health and is at this moment in Bath.
Nay, Jack, don't trifle with me.
She has arrived here with my father within the hour.
Can you be serious?
I thought you knew Sir Anthony better than to be surprised at a sudden whim of this kind. Seriously then, it is as I tell you. Upon my honor.
My dear Jack, no, nothing on earth can give me a moment's uneasiness.
Sir, Mr. Akers has arrived, is below.
Say, Falkland, this Akers lives within a mile of Sir Anthony, and he shall tell you how your mistress has been since you left her. Show him up, Fag.
What, is he much acquainted in the family?
Oh, very intimate.
Well then, I should like to ask him a few questions.
He is likewise a rival of mine, that is of my other selves, for he does not think his friend Captain Absolute ever saw the lady in question. And it's ridiculous enough to hear him complain to me of a certain Ensign Beverly, a concealed and skulking rival who...
He's here.
Ha, my dear friend, noble captain and honest Jack, how dost thou? Just arrived, faith, as you see. Sir, your humble servant. Warm work on the roads, Jack. Holy horseshit, I have traveled like a comet with a tail of dust all the way as long as them all.
Ah, Bob, you are indeed an eccentric planet, but we know your attraction hither. Give me leave to introduce Mr. Falkland to you. Mr. Falkland, Mr. Akers.
Sir, I am most heartily glad to see you. Hey, Jack, but this is Mr. Falkland.
Hi, Bob. Miss Melville's Mr. Falkland.
Aha, she and your father can be but just arrived before me. I suppose you've seen them. Ah, Mr. Falkland, you are indeed a happy man.
I have not seen Miss Melville yet, sir. I hope she enjoyed full health and spirits in Devonshire.
Oh, never knew her better in my life, sir. Never better. Holy blushes and blooms, she has been as healthy as a steam bath at the spa.
Indeed. I did hear she had been a little indisposed.
Oh, false, sir. Only said to vex you. Quite the reverse, I assure you.
There, Jack. You see, she has the advantage of me. I had almost fretted myself ill.
What, now you are angry at your mistress for not having been sick?
No, you misunderstand me. Yet surely a little trifling indisposition is not an unnatural consequence of absence from those we love. Now confess, isn't there something unkind in this violent, robust, unfeeling health?
Oh, it was very unkind of her to be well in your absence, to be sure.
Well, but you were saying Miss Melville has been so exceedingly well? What then, she has been merry and gay, I suppose? Always in spirits, eh?
Oh, she has been the belle and spirit of the company, wherever she has been. So lively and entertaining, so full of wit and humor and...
There, Jack, there. By my soul, what? Happy and I away?
How done. How foolish this is. Just now you were only apprehensive for your mistress's spirits.
Why, Jack, have I been the joy and spirit of the company?
Indeed, you have not.
Have I been lively and entertaining?
On my word, I acquit you.
Have I been full of wit and humor?
No. Faith, to do you justice, you have been confoundedly stupid indeed.
What's the matter with the gentleman?
He is only expressing his great satisfaction at hearing that Julia has been so well and happy, that's all. Hey, Falkland.
Oh, I am rejoiced to hear it. Yes, she has a happy disposition.
Oh, that she has indeed. Then she is so accomplished, so sweet a voice, so expert at her harpsichord, such a mistress of flat and sharp, squillante, rumblante, quiverante.
There again. What say you to this, sir? See, she is all mirth and song, not a thought of me.
Man, is not music the food of love?
Well, well, it may be so. Pray, Mr. What's his damned name? Can you remember what songs Miss Melville sung?
Oh, not I indeed.
Stay now, there were some pretty melancholy airs, I warrant. Perhaps you may recollect. Did she sing, "When absent from my soul's delight"?
Oh, no, that wasn't it.
Or "Go gentle gales"?
Oh, no, nothing like it. Lord, now I recollect one of them. My heart's my own, my will is free.
Fool that I am to fix all my happiness on such a trifler. What can you say to this, sir?
Why that I should be glad my mistress has been so merry, sir.
Nay, 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 I am not sorry that she has been happy. No, 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 I am glad of that. I would not have had her sad or sick. Yet surely a sympathetic heart would have shown itself even in the choice of a song. But she's been dancing too, no doubt.
Oh, what does the gentleman say about dancing?
He says the lady we speak of dances as well as she sings.
Oh, I truly.
Hell and the devil! There. I told you so. I told you so. She thrives in my absence, dancing.
For heaven's sake, Falkland, suppose she has danced. Does not the ceremony of society often
Well, I'll contain myself, perhaps, as you say, for form's sake. What then, Mr. Akers? You were praising Miss Melville's manner of dancing a minuet, eh?
Oh, I dare applaud her for that. But what I was going to speak of was her country dancing. Oh, she has such an air with her, so quick, so lively.
Country dances? A minuet I could have forgiven, but country dances? Jack, there never can be but one man in the world with whom a truly modest and delicate woman ought to pair with in a country dance. And even then, the rest of the couple should be her great uncles and aunts.
Aye, to be sure, grandfathers and grandmothers.
I must leave you. I own I am somewhat flurried, and that confounded Luby has perceived it.
Nay, but stay, Falkland, and thank Mr. Akers for his good news.
Damn his news.
Poor Falkland, 5 minutes since, nothing on earth could give me a moment's uneasiness.
The gentleman wasn't angry at my praising his mistress, was he?
A little jealous, I believe, Bob.
Jealous of me? You don't say so. That's a good joke.
Nothing strange in that, Bob. Let me tell you, that sprightly grace and insinuating manner of yours will do some mischief among the girls here.
You joke. Mischief. But you know I am not my own property. My dear Lydia has forestalled me. She never could abide me in the country because I used to dress so badly. But, holy ruffs and cuffs, I'll make my own clothes know who's master. I shall straightway cashier the hunting frock and render my leather breeches incapable. My hair has been in training quite some time.
Indeed.
Aye, and the side bits are a little restive. My hind part takes it very kindly.
You'll polish, I doubt not.
Absolutely. I propose so. Then, if I can find out this ensign Beverly, holy triggers and flints.
Spoke like a man.
Sir, your father is below and desires to see you.
You puppy, why didn't you show him up directly?
Well, I must be gone. You have business with Sir Anthony, and I expect a message from Mrs. Malaprop at my lodgings. I have also sent to my dear friend, Sir Lucius O'Trigger. Adieu, Jack. We must meet at night when you shall give me a dozen bumpers to little Lydia.
That I will, Bob, with all my heart. And now, for a parental lecture. I hope he has heard nothing of the business that has brought me here. I wish the gout had held him fast in Devonshire with all my soul. Sir, I am delighted to see you here, looking so well. Your sudden arrival at Bath made me apprehensive for your health.
Very apprehensive, I dare say, Jack. What, you are recruiting here, eh?
Yes, sir, I am on duty.
Well, I am glad to see you, though I did not expect it, for I was going to write to you on a little matter of business. Now, Jack, I've been considering that I grow old and infirm and shall probably not trouble you long.
Pardon me, sir, but I've never seen you look more strong and hearty, and I pray frequently that you may continue so.
I hope your prayers may be heard with all my heart. Now then, Jack, I have been considering that I am so strong and hearty that I may continue to plague you a long time. Now I am sensible that the income of your commission and what I have hitherto allowed you is but a small pittance for a lad of your spirit.
Sir, you are very good.
And it is my wish, while yet I live, to have my boy make some figure in the world. I have resolved, therefore, to fix you at once in a noble independence.
Sir, your kindness overpowers me. Such generosity makes the gratitude of reason more lively than the sensations of even filial affection.
I am glad you are sensible of my attention, and you shall be the master of a large estate in a few weeks.
Let my future life, sir, speak my gratitude. I cannot express the sense I have of your munificence. Yet, sir, I presume you would not wish me to quit the army?
Oh, that shall be as your wife chooses.
My wife, sir?
I settle that between you, settle that between you.
A wife, sir, did you say?
Aye, a wife. Why, did I not mention her before?
Not a word of her, sir.
Odd so, I mustn't forget her, though. Yes, Jack, the independence I was speaking of is by marriage. The fortune is saddled with a wife, though I suppose that makes no difference.
Sir, you amaze me.
What the devil's the matter with the fool? Just now, you were all gratitude and duty.
I was, sir. You talked to me of independence and of fortune, but not a word of a wife.
Oh, why? What difference does that make? Odds life, sir, if you have the estate, you must take it with the livestock on it as it stands.
If my happiness is to be the price, then I must beg leave to decline the purchase. Pray, sir, who is the lady?
What's that to you? Come, give me your promise to love and to marry her directly.
Sure, sir, this cannot be very reasonable. To summon my affections for a lady I know nothing of.
I am sure, sir, it is more unreasonable in you to object to a lady you know nothing of.
Then, sir, I must tell you plainly that my inclinations are fixed on another. My heart is engaged to an angel.
Then pray, let it send an excuse. It is very sorry, but business prevents its waiting on her.
But my vows are pledged to her.
Let her foreclose, Jack, let her foreclose. They are not worth redeeming. Besides, you have the angel's vows in exchange, I suppose, so there can be no loss there.
Sir, you must excuse me if I tell you once and for all that in this point, I cannot obey you.
Hark ye, Jack. I've heard from you for some time with patience. I have been cool, quite cool, but take care. You know I am compliance itself when I am not thwarted. No one more easily led when I have my own way, but don't put me in a frenzy.
Sir, I must repeat it. In this, I cannot obey you.
Now, damn me if I ever call you Jack again while I live.
Nay, sir, but hear me.
Sir, I won't hear a word. Not a word, not one word. So give me your promise by a nod, and I'll tell you what, Jack. I mean, you dog. If you don't...
What, sir? Promise to link myself to some mass of ugliness?
Zoons! Sir, the lady shall be as ugly as I choose. She shall have a hump on each shoulder. She shall be as crooked as the crescent. Her one eye shall roll like the bulls in Cox's museum. She shall have skin like a mummy and the beard of a goat. She shall be all this, sir, yet I will make you ogle her all day and sit up all night to write sonnets on her beauty.
Well, this is reason and moderation indeed.
Why, you impudent, insolent, overbearing reprobate, I give you 6 hours and a half, if you then agree, without any condition, to do everything on earth of my choosing. And in time I may forgive you. And if not, zoons, don't enter the same hemisphere with me. Don't dare breathe the same air or use the same light as me, but get an atmosphere and a sun of your own. I'll disown you. I'll disinherit you. I'll unget you, and damn me if I ever call you Jack again.
Mild, gentle, considerate father. I wonder what old wealthy hag it is he wants to bestow on me. Yet he himself married for love, and was in his youth a bold intriguer and a gay companion. The skin of a mummy, the beard of a goat.
So, I shall have another rival to add to my mistress's list. Captain Absolute. However, I shall not enter his name until my purse has received notice. Poor Acres is dismissed. Well, I have done him a last friendly office in letting him know that Beverly was here before him. Sir Lucius is generally more punctual when he expects to hear from his dear Delia, as he calls her. I wonder why he's not here. I have a little scruple of conscience from this deceit, though I should not be paid so well if my hero knew that Delia was near 50 and her own mistress.
My little ambassadress, I've been looking for you. Have you got something for me?
Yes, I have. I've got a letter for you in my pocket.
Oh, Faith, I guessed you weren't come empty-handed. Well, let me see what that dear creature says.
There, Sir Lucius.
Sir, there is often a sudden, instinctive impulse in love that has a greater induction than years of domestic combination. Such was the commotion I felt at the first superfluous view of Sir Lucius O'Trigger. Very pretty, upon my word. Female punctuation forbids me to say more, yet let me add that it will give me joy infallible to find Sir Lucius worthy the last criterion of my affections. Delia. Upon my conscience, Lucy, your lady is a great mistress of language. Faith is quite the queen of the dictionary.
Aye, sir, a lady of her experience.
Experience? What, at 17?
Oh, true, sir, but she reads so, my stars.
Oh, she must be very deep bred to write this way, though she is rather an arbitrary writer too, for here are a great many poor words pressed into the surface of this note.
Ah, Sir Lucius, if you were to hear how she talks of you.
Oh, tell her I'll make her the best husband in the world, and Lady O'Trigger into the bargain. Now, my pretty lady, here's a little something to buy you a ribbon. And meet me in the evening, and I'll give you an answer to this.
So, ma'am, I humbly beg pardon.
Oh, Mr. Fagg, you flurry one so.
Come, Lucy. Here's no one by, so a little less simplicity, with a grain or two more sincerity, if you please. You play false with us, madam. I saw you give the baronet a letter. My master shall know this, and if you don't call him out, I will.
Gentlemen's gentlemen are so hasty. That letter was from Mrs. Malaprop's simpleton. She is taken with Sir Lucius's address.
Oh, what taste some people have. But what says our young lady? Any messages for my master?
Sad news, Mr. Fagg. A worse rival than Acres. Sir Anthony Absolute has proposed his son.
What, Captain Absolute?
Even so, I overheard it all.
Very good faith. Oh, goodbye, Lucy. I must away with this news.
You may laugh, but it is true, I assure you. But Mr. Fagg, tell your master not to be cast down by this.
Oh, so disconsolate.
And charge him not to think of quarreling with young Absolute.
Oh, never fear.
Keep up his spirits.
We
'Tis just as Spag told me indeed. My father wants to force me to marry the very girl I'm plotting to run away with. He must not know of my connection with her yet a while. However, I'll read my recantation instantly. My conversion is something sudden indeed, but I can assure him it is very sincere. So, here he comes. He looks plaguey gruff.
No, I'll die sooner than forgive him. Die, did I say? I will live these 50 years to plague him. An obstinate, passionate, self-willed boy. Who can he take after? But he's anybody's son for me. I will never see him more. Never, never, never.
And now for a penitential face.
Fellow, get out of my way.
Sir, you see a penitent before you.
I see an impudent scoundrel before me.
A sincere penitent. Sir, I'm come to acknowledge my error and to submit myself entirely to your will.
What was that?
I have been revolving and reflecting and considering your past kindness and goodness and condescension to me.
Well, sir?
I have likewise been weighing and balancing what you were pleased to mention concerning duty, obedience, and authority.
Well, puppy?
Why then, sir, the result of my reflection is a resolution to sacrifice every inclination of my own to your satisfaction.
Well, now you talk sense. Absolute sense. I think I never heard anything more sensible in my life. Confound you, you shall be Jack again.
I'm happy in the appellation.
Now, Jack, my dear Jack, I will now inform you who the lady really is. Nothing but your passion and violence, you silly fellow, prevented my telling you at first. Now, Jack, prepare for wonder and rapture, prepare. What think you of Miss Lydia Languish?
Languish. What, the languishes of Worcestershire?
Worcestershire, no. Did you never meet Mrs. Malaprop and her niece, Miss Languish, who came to our country just last before you were ordered to your regiment?
Malaprop, Languish. I don't remember to have heard those names before. Yet stay, I think I do recollect something. Languish, Languish. She squints, doesn't she? A little red-haired girl?
Squints, a red-haired girl. Zoons, no.
Then I must have forgot. It can't be the same person.
Nay, but Jack, what think you of a blooming, love-breathing 17?
Oh, as to that, sir, I'm quite indifferent. If I can please you in this matter, 'tis all I desire.
Nay, but Jack, her eyes, oh, her eyes, so innocently wild, so bashfully irresolute. Not a glance, but speaks and kindles some thought of love. Oh, but then, Jack, her cheeks, oh, Jack, cheeks, deeply blushing at the insinuations of her telltale eyes. Then, Jack, her lips, oh, lips, smiling at their own discretion. And if not smiling, more sweetly pouting, even more lovely in sullenness.
That's she indeed. Well done, old gentleman.
Oh, but then, Jack, her neck, oh, Jack, Jack.
And which is to be mine, sir, the niece or the aunt?
Why, you, unfeeling, insensible puppy, I despise you. When I was your age, such a description would have made me fly like a rocket. The aunt, indeed, odds life, when I ran away with your mother, I would not have touched anything old or ugly to gain an empire.
Not to please your father, sir?
To please my father? That is quite another matter, though he wasn't the indulgent father that I am, Jack.
Well, I dare say not, sir.
But, Jack, you are not sorry to find your mistress is so beautiful?
Sir, I repeat it. If I can please you in this affair, 'tis all I desire. Not that I think a woman the worse for being handsome, yet, sir, you before hinted something about a hump or two. one eye, and a few more graces of that kind. Now, not being very nice, I should rather choose a wife of mine to have the usual number of limbs and a limited quantity of back. And though one eye may be very agreeable, yet as the prejudice is always run in favor of two, I should not wish to affect a singularity in that article.
What a cold block of wood you are! You, a soldier, you are fit only to dust the company's uniforms. Odds life, I have a great mind to marry the girl myself.
Sir, I am entirely at your disposal. If you should think of addressing Miss Languish yourself, I suppose you would have me marry the aunt. Or if you should change your mind and take the old lady, 'tis the same to me. I'll marry the niece.
Upon my word, Jack, I know your indifference must be all a lie. I am sure it must. Come, confess, Jack. I'll never forgive you if you hadn't been lying and playing the hypocrite.
Sir, I'm sorry that the respect and duty which I bear to you should be so mistaken.
Hang your respect and duty. But come along with me. I will write a note to Mrs. Malaprop, and you shall visit the lady directly. Her eyes will be the Promethean torch to you. Come along, I will never forgive you. You don't come back stark mad with rapture and impatience. And if you don't, egad, I will marry the girl myself.
They told me Julia would return directly. How mean does this captious, unsatisfied temper of mine appear to be my cooler judgment? I'm conscious of it, yet I cannot correct myself. What tender, honest joy sparkled in her eyes when we met. How delicate was the warmth of her expression. I was ashamed to appear less happy, though I had come resolved to wear a face of coolness and upbraiding. Sir Anthony's presence prevented my proposed expostulations, yet I must be satisfied that she has not been so very happy in my absence. She's coming.
I had not hoped to see you again so soon.
Could I, Julia, be contented with my first welcome, restrained as we were by the presence of a third person?
Oh, Falkland, when your kindness can make me thus happy, let me not think that I've discovered something of coldness in your first salutation.
'Twas but your fancy, Julia. I was rejoiced to see you in such health. Sure I had no cause for coldness?
Nay. Then I see you have taken something ill. You must not conceal from me what it is.
Well then, shall I own to you that my joy at hearing of your health and arrival here by your neighbor Acres was somewhat damped by his dwelling much on the high spirits you enjoyed in Devonshire. Your mirth, your singing, dancing, and I know not what.
I never can be happy in your absence. If I wear a countenance of content, it is to show that my mind holds no doubt of my Falkland's truth. I have often dressed sorrow in smiles, lest my friend should guess whose unkindness had caused my tears.
You were ever all goodness to me. Oh, I am a brute, but when I admit a doubt of your true constancy.
If ever you find my affections fearing but a point, may I become a proverbial scoff for levity and base ingratitude.
Ah! Julia, that last word is grating to me. I would I had no title to your gratitude. Search your heart, Julia. Perhaps what you've mistaken for love is but the warm effusion of a too thankful heart.
I see you are determined to be unkind. The contract which my poor father bound us in gives you more than a lover's privilege.
Again, Julia, you raise ideas that feed and justify my doubts. Perhaps your high respect alone for this solemn compact has fettered your inclination, which else had made a worthier choice.
Then try me now. Let us be as free as strangers as to what is past. My heart will not feel more liberty.
There now! So hasty, Julia, so anxious to be free. If your love for me were fixed and ardent, you would not lose your hold even though I had wished it.
Oh, you torture me to the heart. I cannot bear it. I have given you no cause for this.
Stay, Julia. Stay but for a moment. I hear her sobbing. It's death. What a brute am I to use her thus. After so long an absence, to quarrel with her tenderness. 'Twas barbarous and unmanly. I should be ashamed to see her now. I'll wait until her just resentment is abated, and when I distress her so again, may I lose her forever, and curse my folly half the day and all the night.
Your being Sir Anthony's son, Captain, would itself be a sufficient accommodation. But from the ingenuity of your appearance, I am convinced you deserve the character here given of you.
Permit me to say, madam, that as I have not yet had the pleasure of seeing Miss Languish, my principal inducement in this affair at present is the honor of being allied to Mrs. Malaprop, of whose intellectual accomplishments, elegant manners, and unaffected learning no tongue is silent.
Sir, you do me infinite honor. Few gentlemen nowadays know how to value the ineffectual qualities in a woman. Few think how little knowledge becomes a gentlewoman. Men have no sense now but for the worthless flower of beauty.
It is too true indeed, ma'am. Yet I fear our ladies should share the blame. They think our admiration of beauty so great that knowledge in them would be superfluous. Thus, like garden trees, they seldom show fruit before time has robbed them of the more specious blossom.
Sir, you overpower me with good breeding. He is the very pineapple of politeness. You are not ignorant, Captain, that this giddy girl has somehow contrived to fix her affections on a beggarly ensign whom none of us have ever seen and nobody knows anything of.
So I have heard. I am not at all prejudiced against her on that account.
You are very good and very considerate, Captain. I'm sure I have done everything in my power since I exploded the affair. Long ago, I laid my positive conjunctions on her never to think on the fellow again. Since then, I have laid Sir Anthony's preposition before her. But I'm sorry to say she seems resolved to decline every particle that I enjoin her.
That must be very distressing indeed.
Oh, it gives me the hydrostatus to such a degree. I thought she had persisted from corresponding with him, but behold, this very day I have interceded another letter from the fellow. I believe I have it in my pocket.
Oh, the devil. My last note. That little traitress Lucy.
Oh, there. Perhaps you may know the writing.
I think I have seen the hand before. Yes.
Nay, but read it, Captain.
My soul's idol, my adored Lydia. Very tender indeed.
Tender, aye, and profane too, on my conscience.
I am excessively alarmed at the intelligence you send me, the more so as my new rival
That's you, sir.
Has universally the character of being an accomplished gentleman and a man of honor. Well, that's handsome enough.
But go on, sir.
As for the old weather-beaten she-dragon who guards you, well, who can he mean by that?
Me, sir, me. He means me. There, what do you think now? But to go on a little further.
Impudent scoundrel. It shall go hard, but I will elude her vigilance, as I am told that the same ridiculous vanity which makes her dress up her coarse features and deck her dull chat with hard words which she doesn't understand.
There, sir, an attack upon my language. What do you think of that? An aspiration upon my parts of speech. Was ever such a brute? Sure, if I reprehend anything in this world, it is the use of my oracular tongue and a nice derangement of epitaphs.
Why, he deserves to be hanged and quartered. Let me see. Same ridiculous vanity.
You need not read it again, sir.
I beg your pardon, ma'am. Does also lay her open to the grossest deceptions, from flattery and pretended admiration, impudent coxcomb, so that I have a scheme to see you shortly with the old harridan's consent, and even to make her a go-between in our interview. Was ever such assurance?
Did you ever hear anything like it? He'll elude my vigilance, will he? We'll try who can plot best.
So we will, ma'am. So we will. But pray, could I not see the lady for a few minutes now? I should like to try her temper a little.
I doubt she's prepared for a visit of this kind. There is a decorum in these matters.
Oh, Lord, she won't mind me. Only tell her that Beverly had come.
Sir!
Gently, good tongue.
What did you say of Beverly?
Oh, I was only going to propose that you should tell her by way of jest that it was Beverly who had come. She'd run down fast enough then.
'Twould be a trick she well deserves. Lydia, come down here! Come down, I say, Lydia! The little hussy won't hear. Well, I'll go and tell her at once who it is. She shall know that Captain Absolute has come to wait on her, and I'll make her behave as becomes a young woman.
As you please, ma'am.
For the present, Captain, your servant. Oh, you've not done laughing yet, I see. Elude my vigilance. Yes, yes. Cute.
One would think now that I might throw off my disguise at once and seize my prize with security. But such is Lydia's caprice that to undeceive her were probably to lose her. I'll see whether she knows me.
What a scene am I now to go through. There stands the hated rival, an officer too. But oh, how unlike my Beverly. I wonder he don't begin. Truly, he seems a very negligent wooer. Quite at his ease, upon my word. I'll speak first. Mr. Absolute.
Ma'am.
Oh, heavens. Beverly.
Hush my life softly. Be not surprised.
I am so astonished, and so terrified, and so overjoyed. For heaven's sake, how came you here?
Briefly, I have deceived your aunt. I was informed that my new rival was to visit here this evening, and contriving to have him kept away, have passed myself on her as Captain Absolute.
Oh, charming. And she really takes you for young Absolute.
Oh, she's convinced of it.
I can't forbear laughing to think our sagacity is overreached.
Trifle with our precious moments. Such another opportunity may never occur. Then let me now conjure my kind and condescending angel to fix the time when I may rescue you from undeserving persecution, and with a licensed warmth plead for my reward.
Will you then, Beverly, consent to forfeit that portion of my paltry wealth, that burden on the wings of love?
Come to me rich only thus, in loveliness. Bring to me no portion but thy love. 'Twill be generous in you, Lydia. For well you know, it is the only dower your poor Beverly can repay.
How persuasive are his words. How charming will poverty be with him.
Ah, my soul, what a life we will then live. Love shall be our idol and support, and we will worship him with a monastic strictness, abjuring all worldly toys to center every thought and action there. Proud of calamity, we will enjoy the wreck of wealth, while the surrounding gloom of adversity will make the flame of our pure love show doubly bright. By heavens, I'll fling all goods of fortune from me with the prodigal hand, to enjoy the scene where I might clasp my Lydia to my bosom and say, the world affords no smiles to me but here. If she holds out now, the devil's in it.
Now I could fly with him to the Antipodes.
So pensive Lydia, is then thy warmth abated?
No, nor ever can while I have life. Think not the idle threats of my ridiculous aunt could ever hold any weight with me. Let her choice be Captain Absolute, but Beverly is mine.
I'm astonished at her assurance, to his face.
Thus, then let me enforce my suit.
Oh, poor young man entreating for pity. I can contain no longer. Why, thou vixen, I have overheard you.
Oh, confound her vigilance.
Captain Absolute, I know not how to apologize for her shocking rudeness.
So all safe, I find. I have hopes, ma'am, that time will bring the young lady to...
Oh, there's nothing to be hoped for from her. She's as headstrong as an allegory on the banks of Nile.
Nay, madam, what do you charge me with now?
Why, thou unblushing rebel, didn't you tell this gentleman to his face that you loved another better? Didn't you say you never would be his?
No, madam, I did not.
Good heavens, what assurance! Lydia, you ought to know that lying doesn't become a young woman. Didn't you boast that Beverly, that beggar Beverly, possessed your heart?
'Tis true, ma'am, and none but Beverly
Hold assurance. You shall not be so rude.
Nay, Mrs. Malaprop, don't stop the young lady's speech. She is very welcome to talk thus. It does not hurt me in the least, I assure you.
You are too good, Captain, too amiably patient. But come with me, miss. Let us see you again soon, Captain. Remember what we have fixed.
I shall, ma'am.
Come, take a graceful leave of the gentleman.
May every blessing wait upon my Beverly, my loved.
Hussy, I'll choke the word in your throat. Come along, come along.
Think, fly, coupe. Sink, fly, coupe. Sink, fly, coupe.
Here is Sir Lucius O'Trigger to wait on you, sir.
Show him up.
Mr. Akers, I'm delighted to embrace you.
My dear Sir Lucius, I kiss your hand.
Pray, my friend, what has brought you so suddenly to Bath?
Faith, I have followed Cupid's jack-o'-lantern and find myself in a quagmire at last. In short, Sir Lucius, I have been very ill-used. Mark me, Sir Lucius, I fall as deep as need be in love with the young lady. Her friends take my part. I follow her to Bath, send word of my arrival, and receive answer that the lady is to be otherwise disposed of. She has another lover, one Beverly, who I am told is now in Bath. Holy slanders and lies. He must be at the bottom of it.
A rival in the case is there, and you think he has supplanted you unfairly?
Unfairly? To be sure he has. He never could have done it fairly.
Oh, then sure you know what is to be done.
Not I upon my soul.
Oh, we wear no swords here, but you understand me.
What? What? Fight him?
Aye, to be sure! What can I mean else?
But he has given me no provocation.
Now, I think he has given you the greatest provocation in the world. Can a man commit more heinous offense against another than to fall in love with the same woman? Oh, by my soul, it is the most unpardonable breach of friendship.
Breach of friendship, but I have no acquaintance with this man. I never saw him in my life.
Oh, that's no argument at all. He has the less right than to take such a liberty.
Gad! That's true! I grow full of anger, Sir Lucius. I fire apace. Holy hilts and blades, I find a man may have a deal of valor in him and not know it. But couldn't I contrive to have a little right on my side?
What the devil signifies right when your honor is concerned? Did Achilles or my little Alexander the Great ever inquire where the right lay? No. By my soul, they drew their broadswords and left the lazy sons of peace to settle the justice of it.
Your words of a grenadier's march to my heart, Sir Lucius. I believe courage must be catching. I certainly do feel a kind of valor rising, as it were. A kind of courage, as I may say. Holy flints, pans, and triggers. I'll challenge him directly. Zoons, as the man in the play says, I could do such deeds. Now, come, here's a paper and pen. Now, shall I begin with an oath?
Do the thing decently and like a Christian. Begin now, sir.
That's too civil by half.
To prevent any confusion that might arise.
Well?
From our both addressing the same lady.
Aye, there's the reason.
I shall expect the honor of your company.
Zoons, I'm not asking him to dinner.
Our pretensions. Let me see. Kingsmead Fields will do. And Kingsmead Fields.
Kingsmead Fields. There, so that's done. I'll fold that up presently. My own seal, a hand and dagger shall be the seal.
You see now, this little note will put a stop at once to any confusion or misunderstanding that might arise between you.
Aye, we fight to prevent any misunderstanding.
I'll leave you to fix your own time, so I shall see nothing of you unless it be by letter till the evening. I would do myself the honor to carry your message, but to tell you a secret, I believe I have just such another affair on my own hands. There is a gay captain here at the expense of, who has put a jest on me lately, at the expense of my country. And I only want to fall in with the gentleman to call him out.
By my valor, Sir Lucius, I should like to see you fight first. Odds life, I should like to see you kill him, if it was only to get a little lesson.
I shall be very proud of instructing you, well, for the present. But remember now, when you meet your antagonist, do everything in a mild and agreeable manner. Let your courage be as keen, but at the same time as polished as your sword.
Captain Absolute, sir.
Oh, show him up.
What's the matter, Bob? You sent for me? Well, what did you want with me, Bob?
Oh. There.
To Ensign Beverly. So what's afoot now? Well, what's this?
A challenge.
Indeed. Why, you won't fight him, will you, Bob?
Again, but I will, Jack. Sir Lucius has brought me to it. He has left me full of rage, and I'll fight this very evening. But so much good passion may be wasted.
But what have I to do with this?
Why, as I think you know something of this fellow, I want you to find him out for me, and then give him this mortal defiance.
Well, give it to me, and trust me, he gets it.
Thank you, my dear Jack, my dear friend, but it is giving you a great deal of trouble.
No, not in the least. No trouble in the world, I assure you.
You are very kind. What it is to have a friend. You couldn't be my second, could you, Jack?
Oh, no, Bob, not in this affair. It wouldn't be quite so proper.
Well, then I must get my friend, Sir Lucius. I shall have your good wishes, however, Jack.
Whenever he meets you, believe me. Well, my little hero, success attends you.
Say, Jack. If Beverly should ask you what kind of a man your friend Akers is, do tell him I am a devil of a fellow, will you, Jack?
To be sure, I shall. I'll say you are a most determined dog. Hey?
Do. And if that frightens him, egad, perhaps he may come. So tell him I generally kill a man a week, will you, Jack?
I will. I'll say you are caught in the country fighting Bob.
Right. 'Tis all to prevent mischief, for I don't want to take his life if I clear my honor.
No? Well, that's very kind of you.
Why, you don't wish me to kill him, do you, Jack?
No, upon my soul, I do not. But a devil of a fellow, hey?
Right, but stay. You may add that you never saw me in such a rage before. A most devouring rage.
I will.
Remember, Jack, a determined dog.
Aye, fighting Bob.
Why, thou perverse one, tell me what you can object to him. Isn't he a handsome man? Tell me that. A genteel man, a pretty figure of a man.
She little thinks whom she is praising. So is Beverly, ma'am.
No comparisons, miss, if you please. Comparisons don't become a young woman. No, Captain Absolute is indeed a fine gentleman.
I, the Captain Absolute you have seen.
Then he's so well bred, so full of alacrity and adulation, and has so much to say for himself, too, in such good language. His physiognomy so grammatical. Then his presence is so noble, I protest. When I saw him, I thought of what Hamlet says in the play. Hesperian curls the front of Jove himself, an eye like March to threaten at command, a station like Harry Mercury knew. Something about kissing on a hill. However, the similitude struck me directly.
How enraged will she be presently when she discovers her mistake?
Sir Anthony and Captain Absolute are below, ma'am.
Show them up here. Now, Lydia, I insist on your behaving as becomes a young woman. Show your good breeding at least, though you have forgot your duty.
Madam, I have already told you my resolution. I shall not only give him no encouragement, but I won't even speak to or look at him.
Here we are, Mrs. Malaprop, come to mitigate the frowns of unrelenting beauty. And difficulty enough I had to bring this fellow. I don't know what's the matter, but if I had not held him by force, he'd have given me the slip.
You have infinite trouble, Sir Anthony, in the affair. I am ashamed for the cause. Lydia, rise, I beseech you. Pay your respects.
I do hope that Miss Languish has reflected on the worth of this gentleman, and the regard due to her aunt's choice, and my alliance. Now, Jack, speak to her.
Devil shall I do? You see, sir, she won't even look at me whilst you are here. I knew she wouldn't. I told you so. Let me entreat you to leave us together.
I wonder if I haven't heard my aunt exclaim yet. Surely she can't have looked at him. Perhaps the uniforms are alike, and she is something blind.
I say, sir, I won't stir a foot yet.
I'm sorry to say, Sir Anthony, that my affluence over my niece is very small. Turn round, Lydia. I blush for you.
May I not flatter myself that the lady will assign what cause of dislike she can have to my son? Why don't you begin, Jack? Speak, you puppy, speak.
It is impossible, Sir Anthony. She can have any. Answer, hussy. Why don't you answer?
Then I trust that a childish and hasty predilection will be no bar to Jack's happiness. Soon, sirrah, why don't you speak?
I think my lover seems as little inclined to conversation as myself. How strangely blind must my aunt be?
Ma'am. Faith, sir, I am so confounded and so confused. I knew I should be so, sir. I knew it. The tremor of my passion entirely takes away my presence of mind.
But it don't take away your voice, fool, does it? Go up and speak to her directly.
Sir Anthony, shall we leave them together? Oh, you stubborn little vixen.
Not yet, ma'am, not yet. What the devil are you at? Unlock your jaws, sirrah. Oh.
Heaven send she may be too sullen to look round. I must disguise my voice. Will not Miss Languish lend an ear to the mild accents of true love?
What the devil ails the fellow? Why don't you speak out, Jack? Not down there croaking like a sickly frog.
Oh, sir, the excess of my awe and my modesty quite choke me.
Your modesty again. Oh, I'll tell you what, Jack. If you don't speak out directly and glibly, too, I shall be in such a rage. Mrs. Malaprop, I do wish the lady would favor us with something more than a side front.
Oh, allow Parsi. Be not surprised, Lydia. Suppress all surprise at present.
Then 'tis Beverly's voice. Sure, he can't have imposed on Sir Anthony, too. Is it possible? My Beverly! How can this be? My Beverly?
Beverly? The devil? Beverly? What can the girl mean? This is my son, Jack Absolute.
For shame, hussy! For shame! Your head runs so on that fellow, you have him always in your eyes. Beg Captain Absolute pardon directly.
I see no Captain Absolute, but my beloved Beverly.
Dooms. The girl's mad. Her brain's turned by reading.
On my conscience, I believe so. What do you mean by Beverly, hussy? You saw Captain Absolute before today. There he is, your husband that shall be.
With all my soul, ma'am, when I refuse my Beverly, I refuse my...
Mad as bedlam. Or has this fellow been playing us a rogue's trick? Come here, Sarah. Tell me, who the devil are you?
I'm not quite clear myself, sir. However, I'll endeavor to recollect.
Oh, answer for your mother, you dog, if you won't for me.
Aye, sir, who are you? Oh, mercy, I begin to suspect.
You powers of impudence befriend me. Sir Anthony, most assuredly I am your wife's son, and that I sincerely believe to be yours also. I hope my duty is always shown. Mrs. Malaprop, I am your most respectful admirer, and shall be proud to add affectionate nephew. I need not tell my Lydia that she sees her faithful Beverly, who, knowing the singular generosity of her temper, assumed that name and station, which has proved a test of the most disinterested love, which he now hopes to enjoy in a more elevated character.
So, there will be no elopement after all.
Upon my soul, Jack, thou art a very impudent fellow. To do you justice, I think I never saw a piece of more consummate assurance.
Oh, sir, you flatter me. 'Twas my modesty, you know, sir, my modesty which has stood in my way.
Well, I am glad you are not the dull, insensible varlet you pretended to be, however. Why, I'm glad you have made a fool of your father, you dog. Why, you disgraceful young rascal, it is a wonder you aren't ashamed to hold up your head.
'Tis with difficulty, sir. I am confused, quite confused, as you must perceive.
Oh, Lud! Sir Anthony, a new light breaks in upon me. What, Captain? Did you write the letters then? What, am I to thank you for the elegant compilation of an old weather-beaten she-dragon? Oh, mercy! Was it you that reflected on my parts of speech?
Dear sir, my modesty shall be overpowered at last. If you do not assist me, I shall certainly not be able to stand it.
Come, Mrs. Malaprop, we must forget and forgive. Odds life, matters have taken so clever a turn all of a sudden that I could find it in my heart to be good-humored, eh, Mrs. Malaprop?
Well, Sir Anthony, since you desire it, we shall not anticipate the past. So mind, young people, our retrospection will be all to the future.
Come, we must leave them together, Mrs. Malaprop. They long to fly into each other's arms, I warrant. Isn't the eye as I said, Jack? And the cheek, eh? And the lip, huh? Oh. Come, Mrs. Malaprop, we will not disturb their tenderness. Use the season made for joy. Da-da-da-da! Oh, odds life. I'm in such spirits I don't know what I could not do. Permit me, ma'am.
So much thought bodes no good. So grave, Lydia?
Sir.
So, gad, I thought as much. What? Now that we are as happy in our friends' consent as in our mutual vows, we can just...
Consent indeed.
Come, Lydia, we must lay aside some of our romance. A little wealth and comfort may be endured after all. Thus let me now finally entreat...
What signifies entreaty when you know I must have you?
Nay, ma'am, there shall be no constraint upon your inclinations, I promise you. If I have lost your heart, I resign the rest. Gad, I must try what a little spirit will do.
Then, sir, let me tell you that the interest you had there was acquired by a mean, unmanly imposition that deserves the punishment of fraud. What? You have been treating me like a child, humoring my romance and laughing, I suppose, at your success.
You wronged me, Lydia. You wronged me. But here.
So, while I fondly imagined that we were deceiving my relations and flattered myself that I should outwit and incense them all, behold, my hopes are to be crushed by my aunt's consent and approbation, and I myself am the only dupe at last. But here, sir, here is the picture. Beverly's picture, which I have worn night and day despite threats and entreaties. There, sir, and be assured I throw the original from my heart as easily.
Nay, nay, ma'am, we will not differ as to that. Here's Miss Lydia Languish. There, madam. In beauty, this copy is not equal to you, but I cannot find in my heart to part with it.
We've come. We must interrupt your billing and cooing a while.
The devil's the matter now? Zoons, Mrs. Malaprop, this is the oddest billing and cooing I've ever heard. But what can be the meaning of it? I'm quite astonished.
Ask the lady, sir.
Oh, mercy, I'm quite analyzed for my part. Why, Lydia, what is the reason of this?
The gentleman, ma'am.
I shall be in a frenzy. Why, Jack, you are not come out to be anyone else, are you?
Aye, sir, there's no more trick, is there? You are not like Cerberus. 3 gentlemen at once, are you?
Sir, you're not letting me speak. I tell you, the lady can account for this much better than I can.
Ma'am, you once commanded me never to think of Beverly again. There is the man. I now obey you. From this moment, I renounce him forever.
Oh, mercy and miracles. What a turn here is. Why, sure, Captain. You haven't behaved disrespectfully to my niece.
Now I see it. Oh, now I see it. You have been too lively, Jack.
No, sir, upon my word.
No excuses, Jack. Why, your father, you rogue, was so before you. The blood of the absolutes has always been impatient. Oh, poor little Lydia. Why, you frightened her, you dog, you have.
By all that is good, sir. It wasn't even...
Say no more. Mrs. Malaprop will make your peace. Mrs. Malaprop, you must make his peace. You must tell her, 'tis Jack's way. 'Tis all our ways. It runs in the blood of our family. Oh, come away, Jack. Oh, Mrs. Malaprop, a young villain.
Oh, Sir Anthony. Oh, fie. Captain.
I wonder where this Captain Absolute hides himself. Isn't this the Captain coming? Oh, faith it is! Who the devil is he talking to?
What fine purpose have I been plotting? A noble reward for all my schemes upon my soul. Steph, I never was in a worse humor in all my life. Why, I could cut my own throat or any other person's with the greatest pleasure in the world.
Oh, faith! I'm in the luck of it. I never could have found him in a sweeter temper than for my purpose. To be sure, I'm just come in the nick. Now to enter into conversation with the captain and so quarrel genteelly. With regards to that matter, Captain, I must beg leave to differ an opinion with you.
Upon my word, then, you must be a very subtle disputant, Because, sir, I happened just then to be giving no opinion at all.
That's no reason. Forgive me leave to tell you. A man may think an untruth as well as speak one.
Very true, sir, but if a man never utters his thoughts, I should think he might stand a chance of escaping controversy.
Well then, sir, you differ in opinion with me, which amounts to the same thing.
Hark you, Sir Lucius. If I had not before known you to be a gentleman, upon my soul, I should not have discovered it at this interview. For what you can drive at, unless you mean to quarrel with me, I cannot conceive.
I humbly thank you for the quickness of your apprehension. You have named the very thing I would be at.
Well, very well then, sir, I shall not balk your inclinations, but I should be glad if you would please explain your motives.
Your memory is very short, or else you could not have forgotten the front you passed on me within this week. So, no more, but name your time and place.
Well, since you are so bent on it, the sooner the better. Let it be this evening, here, by the spring gardens. We shall scarcely be interrupted.
If it's the same to you, Captain, I should take it as a particular kindness if you would let us meet at King's Mead Fields. As a little business will call me there about 6 o'clock, and I may dispatch both matters at once.
'Tis the same to me exactly. A little after 6 then. We'll meet to discuss matters more seriously.
If you please, sir, there will be very pretty small sword light, though it won't do for a long shot. So, that matter settled, and my mind's at ease.
Well met. I was going to look for you. Oh, Falkland, all the demons of spite and disappointment have conspired against me. I'm so vexed that had I not the prospect of being knocked of the head by and by, I should scarcely have breath to tell you the cause.
What can you mean? Has Lydia changed her mind? I should have thought her duty and inclination would now have pointed to the same object.
Eyes, the eyes do of a person who squints. When her love eye was fixed on me, the other, her eye of duty, was finally obliqued. But when duty bid her turn that the same way, off the other turned on a swivel and secured its retreat with a frown.
What's the prospect you...
Then to round up the whole, a good-natured Irishman here has begged leave of having the pleasure of cutting my throat, and I mean to indulge him. That's all.
Prithee, be serious.
'Tis fact upon my soul. Sir Lucius O'Trigger, you know him by sight. For some affront which I am sure I never intended, has obliged me to meet him here this evening. 'Tis on that account I wish to see you. You must go with me.
Nay, there must be some mistake, sure. Sir Lucius shall explain himself, and I dare say matters may be accommodated. But I am myself a good deal ruffled by a difference I have had with Julia. My vile, tormenting temper has made me treat her so cruelly that I may not be myself until we are reconciled.
By heavens, Falkland, you don't deserve her.
For you, sir.
Oh, Jack. It's from Julia. I tried to open it. I fear it is to take a last leave. Oh, how I suffer from my folly.
Here, let me see. Aye, 'tis a final sentence indeed. 'Tis all over with you, Faith.
Nay, Jack, don't keep me in suspense.
Here. Is I'm convinced that my dear Falkland's own reflections have already upbraided him for his last unkindness to me, I will not add another word on the subject. I wish to speak with you as soon as possible. Yours ever and truly, Julia. Well, there's stubbornness and resentment for you. Why, man, you don't seem one whit the happier at this.
Oh, yes, I am, but...
Confound your butts. You never hear anything that would make another man bless himself, but you immediately damn it with the butt.
Why, Jack? Don't you think there's something forward, something indelicate in this haste to forgive?
I have not patience to listen to you. Thou art incorrigible. So say no more on the subject. I must go to settle a few matters. Let me see you before 6, remember, at my lodgings. A poor industrious devil like me, who has had to plot and toil and drudge to gain his ends, but am at last disappointed by other people's folly, may in pity be allowed to swear and grumble a little. But a captious skeptic in love, a slave to fretfulness and whim, who has no difficulties but of his own creating, is a subject fit more for ridicule than compassion.
I feel his reproaches, yet his engaging me in this duel has started an idea in my head, which I will instantly pursue. I'll use it as the touchstone of Julia's sincerity. If her love prove pure and sterling, my name will rest on it with honor. And once I have stamped it there, I'll lay aside my doubts forever.
How this message has alarmed me. What dreadful accident can he mean? Why such charge to be alone? Oh, Falkland, how many unhappy moments, how many tears have you cost me? What means this? Why this caution, Falkland?
Alas, Julia, I'm come to take a long farewell.
Heavens, what do you mean?
You see before you a wretch, whose life is forfeited. Nay, start not. The infirmity of my temper has drawn this misery on me. I left you fretful and passionate. An untoward accident drew me into a quarrel so that I must fly this kingdom instantly. Oh, Julia, had I been so fortunate to have called you mine entirely before this mischance had fallen on me, I should not so deeply dread my banishment.
My soul is oppressed with sorrow at your misfortune. My heart has long known no other guardian. I now entrust my person to your honor. We will fly together. When safe from pursuit, my father's will may be fulfilled, and I receive legal claim to be the partner of your sorrows and tenderest comforter.
Oh, Julia, I'm bankrupt in gratitude, yet the time is so pressing. Would you not wish some hours to weigh the advantages you forego, and what little compensation poor Falkland can make you besides his solitary love?
I ask not a moment. No, Falkland, I have loved you for yourself. And if I now more than ever prize the solemn engagement which so long has pledged us to each other, but let us not linger. Perhaps this delay
Twould be better I should not venture out again till dark. Yet it grieves me to think of what numberless distresses press heavy on your gentle disposition.
Perhaps your fortune may be forfeited by this unhappy act. I know not whether 'tis so, but sure that alone can never make us unhappy. The little I have will be sufficient to support us, and exile should never be splendid.
Aye, but in such an abject state of life, my wounded pride may perhaps increase the natural fretfulness of my temper, till I become a rude, morose companion, beyond your patience to endure.
If your thoughts should assume so unhappy a bent, you will the more want some mild and affectionate spirit to watch over and console you, one who, by bearing your infirmities with gentleness and resignation, may teach you so to bear the evils of your fortune.
Julia, I've proved you to the quick, and with this useless device I throw away all my doubts. How shall I plead to be forgiven for this last unworthy effect of my restless, unsatisfied disposition?
Has no such disaster happened as you related?
I am ashamed to own it was pretended, yet in pity, Julia, do not kill me with resenting a fault which
Hold, Falkland! That you are free from a crime which I before feared to name, heaven knows how sincerely I rejoice. But but that your cruel doubt should have so sorely wrung my heart gives me now a pang more keen than I can express.
By heavens,
After
Julia.
such a year of trial, I now see it is not in your nature to be content or confident in love. With this conviction, I never will be yours.
But Julia, by my soul and honor, if after all
But
this...
one word more. I shall pray for your happiness with the truest sincerity. All I request of you is that you yourself reflect upon this infirmity, and when you number up the many true delights it has deprived you of, let it not be your least regret that it lost you the love of the one who would have followed you in beggary through the world.
She's gone. Forever. Oh, fool! Dolt! Barbarian! Kind fortune sent a heaven-gifted cherub to my aid, and like a ruffian, I have driven her from my side.
I-ho. Though he has used me so, this fellow runs strangely through my head. I believe one lecture from my grave cousin will make me recall him. Oh, Julia, I am come to you with such an appetite for consolation. Lud, child, what's the matter with you? You've been crying. I'll be hanged if that Falkland has not been tormenting you.
You mistake the cause of my uneasiness. Something has flurried me a little. Nothing that you can guess at. I would not accuse Falkland to a sister.
Whatever vexations you may have, I can assure you mine surpass them. You know who Beverly proves to be?
I will now own to you, Lydia, that Mr. Falkland had before informed me of the whole affair. Had young Absolute been the person you took him for, I should not have accepted your confidence on the subject, without a serious endeavor to counteract your caprice.
So, I see I have been deceived by everyone. But I don't care. I'll never have him.
Nay, Lydia.
Why? Is it not provoking? When I thought I had come to the prettiest distress imaginable to find myself made a mere Smithfield bargain of at last, there had I projected one of the most sentimental elopements, so becoming a disguise, so amiable a ladder of ropes, conscious moon, 4 horses, Scotch parson, with such surprise to Mrs. Malaprop and such paragraphs in the newspapers.
Melancholy indeed.
How mortifying to remember the dear, delicious shifts I used to be put to gain half a minute's conversation with this fellow. How often had I stole forth in the coldest night in January to find him stuck in the garden like a dripping statue. There would he kneel to me in the snow and sneeze and cough so pathetically, he shivering with cold and I with apprehension. And as the freezing blast numbed our joints, how warmly would he press me to pity his flame and glow in mutual ardor. Ah, Julia, that was something like being in love.
If I were in spirits, Lydia, I should chide you only by laughing heartily at you. But it suits more the situation of my mind at present, earnestly to entreat you not to let a man who loves you with sincerity suffer that unhappiness from your caprice, which I know all too well caprice can inflict.
Oh, Lud, what has brought my aunt here?
So, here's fine work, here's fine suicide, parricide, and simulation going on in the fields, and Sir Anthony not to be found to prevent the antistrophe.
For heaven's sake, madam, what's the meaning of this?
That gentleman can tell you. 'Twas he enveloped the affair to me.
Will you, sir, inform us?
I should hold myself deficient in every requisite that forms a man of breeding. I delayed a moment to give you all the information in my power to a lady so deeply interested in the affair as you are.
But quick, quick, sir.
True, ma'am. As you say, one should be quick in these divulging matters of this nature. Or should we be tedious? Perhaps while we are flourishing on the subject, 2 or 3 lives may be lost.
Oh, patience! For heaven's sake, madam, would you tell us what is the matter?
Why, murder's the matter, slaughter's the matter, killing is the matter, but he can tell you the perpendiculars.
Then prithee, sir, be brief.
Why, as to murder, ma'am, I cannot take it upon me to say. As to slaughter or manslaughter, that'll be as the jury finds it.
But who, sir, are engaged in this?
My master, ma'am, my master. I speak of my master.
Oh, heavens. Captain Absolute.
Oh, to be sure, you're frightened now.
But who is there besides Captain Absolute?
Squire Acres and Squire Falkland.
Do, ma'am, let us instantly endeavor to prevent mischief.
Oh, fie. It would be very inelegant in us. We should only participate things.
Ah, do, Mrs. Hant, save a few lives. They are desperately given, believe me. And above all, there is that bloodthirsty Philistine, Sir Lucius O'Trigger.
Sir Lucius O'Trigger, oh mercy.
What are we to do, madam?
Why, fly with the utmost felicity, to be sure, to prevent mischief. Here, friend, you can show us the place.
If you please, ma'am, I will conduct you. David, do you look for Sir Anthony?
Come, girls, this gentleman will exhort us. Come, sir, you're our envoy. Lead the way and we'll proceed. You're sure you know the spot?
I think I can find it, ma'am. And one good thing is we shall hear the report of pistols as we draw near. So we can't, well, miss them. Oh, no fear, ma'am, never fear.
A sword seen in the streets of Bath would raise as great an alarm as a mad dog. How provoking this is in Falkland. Never punctual. I shall be obliged to go without him at last. Oh, the devil. Here is Sir Anthony. How shall I escape him?
Only that I see he doesn't know me. Oh, I could have sworn that was Jack.
Stop him! Stop him! Murder! Fire! Stop fire! Stop fire! Oh, Sir Anthony, call, bid him stop! Murder! Fire!
Murder? Fire where?
Since he's out of sight, and I'm out of breath for my part. Oh, Sir Anthony, why didn't you stop him? Why didn't you stop him?
Dunes, the fellow's mad. Stop who? Stop Jack?
I, the captain, sir. There's murder and slaughter.
Murder?
Aye, please you, Sir Anthony. There's all sorts of murder, all sorts of slaughter to be seen in the fields. There's fighting going on, sir. Bloody sword and gun fighting.
Who are going to fight, dunce?
Everybody that I know of, Sir Anthony. Everybody is going to fight. Poor Master Acres, Sir Lucius O'Trigger, your son, the captain.
Oh, the dog. Do you know the place?
Kingsmead Fields.
Come along.
By my valor then, Sir Lucius, 40 yards is a good distance.
Since 3 or 4 feet between the mouths of your pistols is as good as a mile.
Zoons, we might as well fight in a sentry box. I tell you, Sir Lucius, the farther off he is, the cooler I shall take my aim.
Well, the gentleman's friend and I must settle that. But tell me now, Mr. Akers, in case of an accident, is there any little will or commission I could execute for you?
I am much obliged to you, sir, but I don't understand.
Well, there's no being shot at without a little risk, and if an unlucky bullet shall carry a quietus with it, I say it will be no time then to be bothering you about family matters.
A quietus?
For instance now, if that should be the case, would you rather be pickled and sent home? Or would it be the same to you to lie here in the Abbey? You know, I'm told there's very snug lying in the Abbey.
Pickled? Snug lying in the Abbey? Odds trimmers! Sir Lucius, don't talk so.
Pray now, how will you receive the gentleman's shot?
Holy foils and files. I practiced that. There, Sir Lucius, there. A side front, eh? Odd. I'll make myself small enough. I'll stand edgeways.
Now, you're quite out. For if you stand so when I take my aim...
No, Sir Lucius! Are you sure that's not cocked?
Oh, be easy. If I hit you in the body, my bullet has a double chance. If my bullet hits you, misses your right side, it will be very hard if it don't succeed on the left.
Misses my right side?
But here, fix yourself so. Let him see the broad side of your full front. There! Now a ball or two may pass clean through you and never do any harm at all.
Clean through me? A ball or two clean through me?
Sure, they don't mean to disappoint. Ah, no faith. I think I see them coming.
There are two of them indeed, Sir Lucius. Well, let them come, eh? We won't run.
Run? Oh, what the devil's the matter with you?
Nothing, my dear friend, my dear Sir Lucius, but I don't feel quite so bold somehow as I did.
Oh, fie, consider your honor.
Aye, true, my honor. Do, Sir Lucius, edge in a word or two every now and then about my honor.
Well, here they're coming.
Sir Lucius, if I wasn't with you, I should almost think I was afraid. If my valor should leave me, valor will come and go.
Then pray keep it while you have it.
Sir Lucius, I think it is going. Yes, my valor is certainly going. It is sneaking off. I feel it oozing out, as it were, at the palms of my hands.
Your honor, your honor. Here they are.
Oh, mercy, that I was safe at Claude Hall, or could be shot before I was aware.
Gentlemen, you're most obedient. What, Captain Absolute? So, I suppose, sir, you come here just like myself to do a kind office first for your friend, then to proceed to business on your own account?
What? Jack, my dear friend?
Archie Bob, Beverly's at hand.
Mr. Akers, I don't blame your saluting the gentleman civilly. Mr. Beverly, if you'll choose your weapons, the captain and I will measure the ground.
My weapons, sir?
Odds life, Sir Lucius. I'm not going to fight Mr. Falkland. These are my particular friends.
What? Sir, do you not come here to fight Mr. Akers?
Not I upon my word, sir.
Well, that is mighty provoking. But I do hope, Mr. Falkland, as there are 3 of us, come on purpose for this game, that you won't be so cantankerous as to spoil the party by sitting out.
Oh, pray, Falkland, fight to oblige Sir Lucius.
Nay, if Mr. Akers is so bent on the matter.
Oh no, Mr. Falkland. I'll bear my disappointment like a Christian. Look ye, Sir Lucius, there's no occasion at all for me to fight.
Observe me, Mr. Akers. I must not be trifled with. You have certainly challenged somebody, and you came here to fight him. Now, if that gentleman is willing to take his place, I can't see by my soul why not.
Why, no, Sir Lucius. I tell you, 'tis when Beverly I've challenged. A fellow, you see, that dare not show his face. If he were here, I'd make him give up his intentions directly.
Oh, Bob, let me set you right. There is no such person as Beverly. The person who assumed that name is before you, and as his intentions are the same in both characters, he is ready to support them in whatever way you please.
Well, this is lucky. Now you have the opportunity to
What? To quarrel with my dear friend Jack Absolute? Not if he were 50 Beverleys. Zoons. Sir Lucius, you would not have me so unnatural.
Mr. Akers, your valor has oozed away with a vengeance.
Not in the least. Holy friends and defenders, I will be your second with all my heart. And if you should get a quietus, you may command me entirely. I'll get you snug lying in the abbey here, or pickle you and send you over to Blunderbuss Hall or anything of the kind with the greatest pleasure.
You are little better than a coward. You are beneath my notice.
No, Sir Lucius, you can't have a better second than my friend Akers. He is the most determined dog, known in the country as Fighting Bob. He generally kills a man a week, don't you, Bob?
Aye, at home.
Well then, sir, 'tis we must begin. So come out, my little counselor, and ask the gentleman whether he will resign the lady without forcing you to proceed against him.
Come on then, sir. Since you won't let it be an amicable suit, here's my reply.
Knock him down, sweet Sir Anthony! Knock him down!
Put up, Jack! Put up, or I shall be in a frenzy. How came you in a duel, sir?
Hey, sir, that gentleman can tell you better than I. 'Twas he who called on me, and you know I serve his majesty.
Here's a pretty fellow. I catch him going to cut a man's throat, and he tells me he serves his majesty. Oh, well then how durst you draw the king's sword against one of his subjects?
Sir, I tell you, that gentleman called me out without explaining his reasons.
Gad! Sir, how came you to call my son out without explaining your reasons?
Your son, sir, insulted me in a manner in which my honor could not brook.
Zoons! Jack, how durst you call this gentleman out in a manner which his honor could not brook?
Come, let's have no honor before ladies. Captain Absolute, how could you affright us so? Here's that he has been terrified to death for you.
For fear I should be killed or escape, ma'am.
Nay, no delusions to the past. Lydia is convinced. Speak, child.
With your leave, ma'am, I must put in a word here. I believe I can interpret the young lady's silence. And now, Mark!
What is it you mean, sir?
Oh, come, Delia. Now's not the time to be trifling. We must be serious.
'Tis true, sir. And your reproof bids me to offer this gentleman my hand and solicit the return of his affections.
My little angel, say you so? Sir Lucius, I perceive there must be some mistake here with regard to the affront which you affirm I have given you. I can only say that it could not have been intentional. And as you must be convinced that I should not fear to support a real injury, you shall now see that I am not ashamed to atone for an inadvertency. I ask your pardon. But for this lady, while honored with her approbation, I'll support my claim against any man whatever.
Well said, Jack, and I'll stand by you, my boy.
Mine. I give up all my claim. I make no pretension to anything in this world. And if I can't get a wife without fighting for her, by my valor, I will live a bachelor.
Captain, an affront so handsomely acknowledged becomes an obligation. And as for the young lady, if she chooses to deny her own handwriting, here.
Oh, you will dissolve my mystery. Oh, Sir Lucius, perhaps there's some mistake. Perhaps I can illuminate.
Pray, old gentlewoman, don't interfere where you have no business. Miss Linguist, are you my Delia or not?
Indeed, Sir Lucius, I am not.
Sir Lucius O'Trigger, ungrateful as you are, I own the soft impeachment. Pardon my blushes. I am Delia.
You, Delia? Be easy.
Why, thou barbarous Van Dyke! Those letters are mine. When you are more sensible of my benignity, perhaps I might be brought to encourage your addresses.
Miss Malaprop, I am extremely sensible to your condescensions, and whether you or Lucy have put this trick on me, I am equally beholden to you. And to show you that I am not ungrateful, Captain Absolute, since you have taken that lady from me, I'll give you my Delia into the bargain.
I am much obliged to you, Sir Lucius, but here is my friend fighting Bob unprovided for.
Little valor, here, will you make your fortune?
Only spots and wrinkles, no. But give me your hand, Sir Lucius. Forget and forgive. But if ever I give you the chance of pickling me again, say Bob Acres is a dunce. That's all.
Come, Mrs. Malaprop. Don't be cast down. You are in your bloom yet.
Oh, Sir Anthony, men are all barbarians.
Julia, how may I sue for what I so little deserve? I dare not presume yet. Hope is the child of penitence.
Oh, Falkland, you have not been more faulty in your unkind treatment of me than I am now in wanting inclination to resent it. As my heart honestly bids me place my weakness to the account of love, I should be ungenerous not to admit the same plea for yours.
Now I shall be blessed indeed.
What's going on here? So you've been quarreling too, I warrant. Come, Julia. I never interfered before, but let me have a hand in the matter at last. All the faults I have ever seen in my friend Falkland seem to proceed from what he calls the delicacy and warmth of his love for you. There, Julia, marry him directly. You'll find he'll mend surprisingly.
Come now, everyone. I hope there's no dissatisfied person here today. As for I myself have been disappointed. It will be very hard to not find any satisfaction seeing other people succeed better.
You're right, Sir Lucius. So, Jack, I wish you joy. Mr. Falkland, the same. Ladies, to come now, to show I am neither vexed nor angry, I will order the fiddles in half an hour to the new rooms, and I insist on your all meeting me there.
Gad, sir, I like your spirit. And at night, we single lads will drink a toast to the young couples. And the husband to Mrs. Malaprop.
Oh.
Partners are stolen from us, Jack. I hope to be congratulated by each other. Yours for having checked in time the errors of an ill-directed imagination, and mine for having reformed the unhappy temper of one who tortured the heart he ought to have adored.
Well, Falkland, we have both tasted the bitters as well as the sweets of love, with this difference only. You always prepared the bitter cup for yourself, while I
was always obliged to me for it. Hey, Mr. Modesty. But come, no more of that. Our happiness has now been earned.
Then let us study to preserve it so.